We do everything to make sure that we are secure. And now by doing compliance, you bring someone from outside to say, let me check that you have a good security. Again, compliance doesn't equal security. Security doesn't equal compliance. But at least you have someone from outside that will check. I can never guarantee 100% security, but at least I know from the level we did ISO, CMMC, and your score is high, and someone outside check what you did. Welcome to Trust Issue by BEMO, the podcast where we go beyond checkbox compliance and get real about security. In every episode, we will break down what's happening in the world of CMMC, cybersecurity, and GRC, straight from the people building, auditing, and living it. Real conversation about real security.
All right, here with me today is we've got the BEMO CEO, co-founder, Bruno. He spent 20 years at Microsoft before starting BEMO, wanting to get into cybersecurity for SMBs. Bruno, all right, you founded this company. Why'd you leave Microsoft?
Oh, no, I think, I always said I owe my life to Microsoft. I worked 20 years there, and now, we are BEMO, we are Microsoft partner. We are one of their top 100, cybersecurity partner, in the world. So I guess, I'm still fully at Microsoft. So why did I leave? Well, I think, after working in a corporation, big corporation, wanted to do my own business and, try something that I felt like was not being addressed.
Cool. So like, how did that start? Like, you started the company by yourself? How did you create these packages? Like, how did it just come to be?
Yes, I think it's kind of trying to make it not too long of a story. So created BEMO in 2010. My partner is Joël Lachance, and we worked together at Microsoft. And we kind of, it was funny, kind of by luck, decided to leave Microsoft at the same time, pretty much. And then, we met and we discussed. We started on a napkin. We had ideas, and all we went. And then after, from the packaging, what was interesting is one day, so Joël was living in Taiwan, and he said, hey, I just registered you to an amazing marketing event in Hong Kong. And, because, we say, hey, we are too geek. I think maybe our message is not good. Let's try it. I went to Hong Kong, and I found the exercise, the meeting very good, and what we learned out of it, for me, my experience from there was you need to be able to have offerings. Again, people don't want too many choices. And if you have 3 packages, they will pick the middle one. If you have 5 packages, they will often take package number 4. So again, it was the whole theory. And even, so we came back, drew and created packages, because the idea of again packages, how do you talk about security to someone who doesn't understand security? I think before those going to Hong Kong, I think our package was more, geek and for IT people. And I think we came back and we make it, I guess we are trying to make it that someone that doesn't understand IT can understand what we do.
Right. Those were in the days before, Business Premium came out. Seems like Microsoft really made a push for that. I don't even remember the year anymore. Maybe it was like 2021 or 2022. And before that, you didn't even have that. Like, how did you figure out which licensing you would like?
Oh, it was, here at BEMO, you need to have sorry, Microsoft, but you need to have a PhD in Microsoft licensing, because, stuff change all the time and they move a feature into it. So at the time, we did, in order to, do the security on email, we feature XYZ. Okay, we went there. Yes, it's how it will work. We did our testing. We think it was secure. So it's how, we say, hey, you need that license and that one. By now, Microsoft make it easy, made it easier, either Business Premium or E5. This is kind of the 2 licenses we work with. The 2 main ones, it's a lot easier depending on what the customer want. Business Premium is good enough. If you want more, you will go to E5. So again, a lot easier, So yes.
Right. And it kind of matches with the compliance too. It seems like if you're trying to go after SOC 2, we recommend that they be on Microsoft 365 E5, but it seems like a lot of customers have been able to stay on Business Premium as for SOC 2, whereas if you're trying to go after more challenging or prescriptive frameworks like ISO and CMMC level 2, then you sort of just have to be on Microsoft 365 E5 or G5, right?
Yes.
Um,
I think now, again, you will see, and again, we are back, it's changing all the time. And I think I think sometimes the advantage from our customer to use a company like BEMO is, again, we have to manage the license. We know the new stuff. We will talk to a customer, hey, Microsoft change that, or do you do that? So it's kind of always a conversation about what is the best for where you are. And it's not always, you don't always need the biggest E5,
Yeah.
so
yeah, it just depends on the goals,
a
right?
little bit of the goals, exactly.
What was the philosophy around making BEMO Microsoft-centric? It seems like there's a lot of MSPs out there, and there's a lot of registered practitioner organizations that do implementation of CMMC, and there's kind of there's a lot of ways to kind of get to CMMC level 2. Why did you deliberately choose Microsoft?
No, I think, yes, people say I'm a pro Microsoft from a perspective, from my background. But again, from my perspective today, and I think we have proven over and over, is the choice of, you can maybe go for the best of breed of every single vertical, or you can go for something more integrated. So from my perspective today, again, we do even BEMO's business, we are 95% on Microsoft, makes it a lot easier to manage, patching, and we're able to prove that you don't need to have 20,000 add-on to achieve security. Again, it's good enough, at least for the type of customer we support, company from, 10 to 1,000 users, they are not a Fortune 500. So again, it's for the size of the people and the type of organization we support, Microsoft does a job again.
Right. Like for the most part, the company, especially if you're maybe newer, you probably don't need all the additional things.
Like I would say, if I look at 10 years ago, Microsoft Defender was not that good. I will go with Symantec. OneDrive, wow, it was crap.
Yeah.
You had to go to
Yeah.
Dropbox. Again, it's just like
SharePoint, all that
SharePoint.
stuff.
I mean, so again, it's the evolution. And I think there's also many customers who, I don't like Microsoft. This was my issue 8 years ago. Yes, I agree with you. It was 8 years ago. Have you tried it since? So it's again the evolution of the product, Microsoft, again, because they are doing stuff wrong too. I'm not saying they are perfect, but again, for the value, for you buying E5, at $57, the value that you get, we see it every day with our customer. People come and we had one customer spending $190 per month of add-on, and you're like, wow, I can cut that bill by so much.
CrowdStrike, different document repository systems, everything.
That's crazy. Again, so it's just, so, and, and some of our clients will say, I still want that add-on, no problem. I'm not, against it, but it's just the less integration, the better.
So when you say, a lot of people, they come to us and they say, oh, I'm using CrowdStrike for this and Okta for that. Why do you think people have never tried to do things on Microsoft? Like, they're on Microsoft 365 to begin with. Why why did they just go with like an Entra ID, or why didn't they go with,
I
Defender,
think it's
for
all,
example?
all is a business. Again, we see today, Microsoft or Google is where they start. Okay. But, once you have, business that are, 15, 20 years old, so they were on-prem first, and again, at the time, I think Microsoft didn't have some good solutions. So I bought, they were still on Microsoft, Active Directory, all of that. So they started with that, but then add-on for that. People bought Okta because Microsoft didn't have a solution at the time, and makes sense. But now Microsoft, for me, you don't need Okta. You can do it with Microsoft. But again, I have Okta, it's working, why would I remove it? So people look at simplify it because it's working.
Especially since something like Okta, if has a huge impact on the end user, right? It's all the single sign-on. It's like, how do I get to the apps? And it's like, am I really going to do all this project to save like some money? Yeah,
exactly. So again, at the end is simplification. And once, in our world, we go into compliance, the more system, the more stuff you have to comply with, the more you need to, so it's the more tool, the more complexity you have, the more maintenance you have to do. So, sometimes you have to,
Right. So your perspective is that because we are, we're because BEMO's decided to be so Microsoft-centric that the ability to maintain or achieve a compliance framework tends to be faster?
Yes. Again, I will. Yeah, it's a lot faster. Again, if we use GRC platform, you need to have less plugin, And again, it's just you make a change. Today, if I would have to go tweak Okta, I would have to go tweak. There's a lot of things I need to go tweak to get a number versus I go to again. And because we know Microsoft in and out, that control, how do we turn on that control? Okay, we know by heart. You go here and here, then our package will deploy, and so.
Right. You've done it 500 times using the Microsoft platform to maintain all 500 customers that we have. If now you had to go do Okta this and CrowdStrike that, then you'd have to have more staff. You wouldn't have had the same amount of repetitions.
So we are not for, like we said, we are not for everyone. We will tell customers, sorry, we will not take you. I want to be honest. Your environment is we are not good for that. Go with another MSP. It's just it's.
Right. I mean, that's sort of what we say to all the people that are on, Google Workspace and Jamf and their Mac shop and all that stuff. We say, yeah, we're probably not for you. We don't, we're not, obviously, our customers have Macs, but like, we're not a Jamf shop plus an Okta shop plus a Google Workspace shop plus an AWS plus GCP. It's just like so much to manage.
And again, for us, it goes back, we go to many Microsoft event, and again, Microsoft will support all 3 clouds. But for our customers, they are like always they are barely on one.
Yeah. They're barely on one.
They're barely on one. So they don't care about And again, because for us, we are not taking customers that are either on GCP or AWS to start with. So so we start from
Right. Most of the people that are coming to us are, let's call it, beginning at the 20 users, but it's mostly like 50 to 300 is kind of the space, and usually one cloud is more than enough. Is more than enough. Yeah.
So again, and you already people will say, oh, you may need to have a resiliency. Well, again, most of our customers have, again, at the end of the day, you take the risk to choose Microsoft or AWS or Google, and yes, you may be down for 4 hours one day, but if I look in the old days, how often an IT system will go down? Very often, and it was part of it.
I feel like this multi-cloud resiliency type of conversation, though, it just doesn't apply to most DoD contractors, because that applies when it's like you have a lot of VMs and you have like infrastructure, you have a SaaS tool, you have applications. For the most part, most of these DoD contractors are using like Excel, Word, they have
a shop.
They have a shop. They got a machine shop. It's like, that conversation, it's irrelevant, right? Like, what am I going to have AWS for? I don't have anything to put on AWS, right?
Exactly. So that's why, again, we are very specific from the type of people that we will attract from a business. We are not for everyone, and it's just we know what we do, we know what we don't, and we have no problem to just, sorry, we don't take you.
Yeah. Kind of talk to me about how some of the conversation we were having yesterday with one of our clients around Azure Sentinel reporting. How what's the benefit, or maybe you can talk about the benefit of being able to do reporting for compliance by being able to leverage Power BI, your ticketing platform, and then the signals that come in through Azure Sentinel.
Yeah, so I think so for our listener. So the 2 things that we use. So I always said we have 2 protections. The first one, we have a SOC team 24/7 that we look at all the logs. So what we do is get all the logs from Entra, from Purview, from everything on your laptop.
But before you keep going, what's a SOC? So not to be confused with SOC 2.
Yeah. Security Operations Center. So again, we have people, human being, 24/7 that again are connected to Sentinel. So all your logs, goes into our SIEM. So sorry, I forgot even what the SIEM is.
SIEM is security. I believe it's Security Incident Event Management.
Okay, good.
So
Okay.
It is a tool that essentially aggregates all of the logs across all of your systems. So think every time you sign into your CRM, every time you sign into your laptop, everything that you do is logged. So if you're a company of like, let's say 50 people, across all the different tools that you use, you could probably expect somewhere between 100,000 to 200,000 logs every month. And so someone has to go look through those logs to see if there's someone's trying to attack you, to see if there's anything out of the ordinary, to see what type of patching or updates need to be made, that sort of thing.
So from our perspective, again, this is for me, the SOC team is the team that, again, make sure that, look at the time today. Are you being attacked today? So is someone doing that? This is one. On the back end, we have our managed services team. So then the team that makes sure that your IT infrastructure gets better. So again, we use a Microsoft Secure Score, and the goal is to make it go up. So again, the goal is how they close the door of stuff that need to be patched or stuff. So again, how do we protect the back end? So what we do from our system, again, we connect, because with all the information you have in your SIM, we create automated reports. So again, we connect it. So okay, we take I'm trying to be not technical. We take Microsoft Entra. So again, this is where all your identity, Microsoft Purview. Again,
it's all the MFAs, it's all the single sign-ons, it's all that.
So
kind
then
of
we
stuff.
get 60 report at the beginning of the month, every month. We run it with our agent, and again, you will get kind of a report, and you can see, whoa, this is what maybe still wrong or still need to fix, because the system goes across all the logs of, so you do the cross check. So again, very, very cool. And we are able every month to give you a report, and you can see this, what's still there, what we are going to work. So you see your secure score going up and up and up.
Cool that you mentioned Microsoft Secure Score. I'm curious if you're trying to, give a proxy for how compliance ready you are, how ready you are to pass, or let's call it achieve a SOC 2 report or pass a CMMC level 2 audit. Do you have any sort of, like, if you're really 100% cloud, 100% Microsoft, what type of secure score, Microsoft Secure Score, do you typically see on someone who's CMMC ready?
From Microsoft. So from us, we just at BEMO, we are 97 secure score. So again, we are able to pass all those frameworks.
97 out of 100.
Out of 100, yeah, good point. And so from what we have seen is you have to be for SOC 2 around 70, and CMMC about 80, 85, So it's kind of, again, from an IT, again, from a compliance, there is always multiple. There is the IT side of it, and there is a non-IT side. So I'm, of course, talking about the IT side.
The IT side, yes. Of course. Okay, so let's say you're on Microsoft today, you're listening, you just want to get a quick gauge of where you are. Do you happen to know what the URL is to just go check your secure score really quick?
Admin portal. Again, you go to the admin portal. I think it's security. I believe it's security.
It might just be security.microsoft.com.
I think security.microsoft.com again at the end. I just go, so I don't even think of it. Yeah. And then you look at your secure score.
Yeah.
And
you just get a quick idea of, okay, I'm at 10, I'm at 50. How far? How far?
Yes, how far? And again, we see customers that come to us on average, they start. They are low 30s.
Low 30s.
It's kind of where they start. And again, we take them, slowly.
They're in their low 30s. They're between 50 to 300 employees. And to get from 30 to, let's say, like 70 to 85 can take maybe six months.
Oh, again, so certainly we had a discussion internally yesterday, because we are reviewing and all our customers that we do compliance. So again, checking where they are. So we go from a customer, same size company, one will get the full compliance, security compliance in 6 months, while we have another one, I think at the end it will be 3 years. So, and again, same, yes, yeah. So again, at the end of the day, it's just the speed you want to go. Again, every company is different, but there's the one in 6 months, yes, it's a priority for us. We will just make it happen, and they are making it happen. And the one for 3 years, it's always like, just to get the policy, it takes 2 months. It's just, so it's the priority. So we always said it, how long will it take me? Well, very often it will depend on you.
Right. And the reason why it could take 3 years is because they don't have someone internally dedicated who's like, I'm in charge of this. I will route everything.
I'm not in a company, but they will move again. When we work with you, we have weekly meeting with you. No, they will move, they will cancel 2 out of every 3 meetings. Again, at the end is we always said from BEMO, everything we do is subscription. So it's almost like, hey, you're paying per month at the end. If you don't do the job, you are the one, you're penalizing yourself for not getting the results sooner. I cannot, So it's, from our perspective, we love customer, like say the 1 6 months, everyone at BEMO love to work with them because it's just, it's pleasant stuff. Move, it's just.
Right. Right. What do you have to say about this, like what I think there's like a trend that's going on in the industry of just this like great cheap compliance. So like the idea that you have some vendors or who are saying, hey, you can become SOC 2 within 2 weeks, or maybe more of this like checklist mentality. Why is it that with BEMO it takes maybe 6 months to get secure and compliance, and why it takes other companies maybe, I don't know if it's actually happening in 2 weeks, but sure.
I think it's a fair. I guess it starts from what I believe. So again, as a CISO, from my perspective, is we at BEMO are not doing compliance because we want to be compliant. It's not just we just don't want a checkbox and a piece of paper. Okay, from my perspective, the way I look at it is we are securing BEMO. We do everything to make sure that we are secure. And now by doing compliance, you bring someone from outside to say, let me check that you have a good security. Again, compliance doesn't equal security. Security doesn't equal compliance. But at least you have someone from outside that will check. And for me, I love of a person to say, yeah, everything is good. Oh, I found this issue. Wow. Okay, I want to go fix it. I want people. So I welcome the third-party assessor because I want to validate that my system is as good as, I can do it. Again, I can never guarantee 100% security, but at least I know from the level, we did SOC, we did ISO, CMMC, again, you go up, your secure score is high, and someone outside check what you did. Okay, it's,
It's kind of the whole point of having a standard, right?
Yes, exactly.
is that without having to go do security questionnaires and all this stuff, you should be able to look at a company and be like, oh, I trust that company is operating at a certain level
Exactly.
from a security perspective, and I feel safe.
Like,
Yeah.
if I look at BEMO, I know my number one. If BEMO was to be hacked, our business is over. Because as a security company, just think that we are a security company and get hacked business. So I need to make sure, again, it's a priority from the business. Is and we worked in it. We see the damage being done for companies that are not. So how many of our customers will come? They are doctors, and I am HIPAA compliant, and you open the hood and you're like, there is no way you are HIPAA
No
compliant.
way. Yeah.
Okay.
If there's one thing I've learned, it's that anybody that I've ever talked to that says they're HIPAA compliant, I think I'm still at a big zero. Absolutely none of them are.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, again, now from a patient, I'm like, shit, I go to, I guess, to doctors or that their system, my data is outside. I have no doubt, no doubt, So, and, so on one side, it's like, I like the compliance, it's becoming more and more monetary. It's kind of like, before you didn't have to have an insurance in your car, and people, and they made it monetary for a reason, because
Right. They put seatbelts, right?
Yeah. Also,
Everybody complains, the government's making me do this stuff.
Yes, because it saves life. So again, today government is coming. I need you to be compliant because, as you know, we hear about hack every day and huge hack. And again, compliance will not guarantee you don't, but at least you will say again. I see it from our customers. I get lucky for us. We have a good track record of no major hack, nothing good. But because I always use this image of it's like you have your house and you have Simply Safe as your security company. You have a sign outside. If there is 10 homes and 2 of them have a sign, I always believe the person that want to rob your house will go to one of the 8 houses with no sign. It's the same for, I think, customers. They will try to hack, I will do 1, 2, 3 things. It does not work. There is millions of business like yours that they can go. Why, so, and you can see, we'll see on the log, they start attacking, and they move on. They stop.
Right. They start with maybe like a brute force or like a phishing email.
Spray, or the number one thing is, as we all know, they send phishing link in an email. And I just need, I always joke, my wife is from Brazil. I could be on the beach having a caipirinha in Copacabana, me with my laptop and spending time sending ransomware, but
it's all automated. It's not. It's like they're not even trying anymore. But people are still
it's all
clicking.
automated.
People
You
are still
push it,
clicking, right?
and half of the, I got a number as one of the conference that 42% of tenants don't have MFA as an admin level. I mean, for me, this was, so.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Microsoft said that like about half of all their Microsoft tenants, the global admin doesn't even have MFA.
Yes.
Oh.
So again, Microsoft is now forcing it.
Yeah.
Something you have to force it. But again, so just to show you the level. If
the level, it's on the ground. It's on the ground.
It's all on the ground. Again, it's just we are. And for me, MFA is the number one thing. If there's one thing people, if they don't have it today, just do one thing. MFA will remove 99% of risk of being hacked. So go turn it on. So, but so simplify the message. Half of the company don't have an admin with no MFA, and you're like, okay, that's it. So again, easy to hack.
Yeah. When you look at BEMO has close to, let's say 500-ish. I think we're like
487.
487 companies that we manage. What's like, what do you see like from a managed services like your security operation team? Do they have a lot of attacks every year? Like, do we stop all of them? Like, how does
half of our customers every year are under attack on average, about half. So again, it's done, and again, it's automated. And again, what I love the system, very often you can see this, the hacker has automation, and they change IP. So they come from Brazil, and 2 years later it comes from India. Again, this is a system to run it, and it's just you can see. So we just try again. So if you don't have the system, well, they will try until they come in, because they will go in.
So basically any given year, what you're saying is half the customers are going to have an attempt.
Not going to be attacked doesn't mean that you are breached.
Yeah.
But you are attacked. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you don't even have MFA turned on like half of these accounts, you wouldn't even know. Right?
You don't even know. You don't even know. We see customers when they come to us, and we do our audit before coming, and you're like, do you realize it? I mean, sometimes you see, you're like, hey guys, just that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, oh no, we've never been attacked.
Yeah, we've never been.
How would you know?
How would you know?
How would you know? You don't have any of these things turned on. You're on business standard. You don't have Intune, like, especially all the people that don't have any sort of mobile device management solution. So the ability to centrally manage devices, you really have no idea. Especially all those companies are remote.
Some of our customers, again, they don't have a SOC team. They don't look. Someone say, oh, I check the log. Oh, and I go from time to time. Okay, it's not. Here you have to go.
Or you ask, how many logs did you receive? Oh, I don't know, maybe like 30 to 50. Oh, there's a lot more than 30 to 50.
Yeah. That's again, to give an idea for, again, BEMO, 30 people, we get one. So out of our hundreds of thousands of signal, we get 120 per month that come to the security team to be for a deeper review. So about 120.
And how many logs are there that start in Sentinel?
Oh, I checked. Yesterday. It was 65,000 log in one day.
In one day?
In one day. Yeah. It's so again. It goes again. The signal. So 65,000 a day. This is what we have on average.
But for just BEMO or our customers?
Just BEMO. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So again, it's
okay. So what you're saying is, I don't know, let's call it...
Just to give you an idea, we get 40 gig of data for BEMO per month.
Wow.
So from all the signal, 40 gig of data. Okay.
Wow. So, I don't even know what is 65,000. Let's use 20 business days.
Line. Again, you just, but because, again, you log in, just think the process, you log in.
Yeah, it's about 2 million just entries.
Yes, exactly.
2 million entries per month.
So
and what you're saying is, so Azure Sentinel, the SIM aggregates all these different signals across all your different tools and sign-ins and, work from the airport and blah, 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 right? All that stuff. And then that all gets funneled to the security operation team, which is a mix of AI plus human that's watching 24/7. And you're saying that they receive about 120 like actions or
Now,
tickets.
the SOC team, now go back to our security team. Hey, again, 120 on average, 100 alert that's saying, hey, can you look into it? It may be something. So again, our security team, we look, no. And again, I will give an example, some, people, BEMO, people travel and someone, like say, I am in Seattle and tomorrow the SOC team will see a signal. I go to France. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, can you check that?
Risky user.
Risky user. Can you validate is Bruno really in France or not? Because the SOC team doesn't know that. They don't know the part, whatever.
Yeah. They don't know where everybody's going on vacation and everything all the time. Yeah.
So, again, on average, most, I would say, all the time, because at the end we had no, we finish at zero. But again, we have to look at, but they're all legit because, if it was a hacker, you will want to say, hey, there is Bruno that is connecting from Russia. Well, Bruno is not in Russia. Okay, we have an issue.
Sure. So basically, it starts with Sentinel. You have these 2 million entries per month for a company of like 30 to 50 people, which is that's a lot, right? So if you don't think you're anywhere close to that, you probably don't have it turned on.
If it was not aggregated, there is no way. Again, if you wanted to check, there is no way.
No way.
That you go to all those systems.
Yeah, it's no way. You can't. Yeah, it's impossible.
It's why SOC team and SIM exist. It's just for that reason.
Right. So it goes from Azure Sentinel to SIM to the Security Operations Center.
Azure Sentinel is a SIM.
Yeah. So is the SIM. It goes to the SOC, and then from the SOC, those incidents, I guess, get registered in our ticketing system. So that someone has to track and manually go close them. And then it seems like what happens is from the SOC, it goes to the actual like incident response team. So our security team, and what they do is they actually go check. No, it's not important. Yes, this is normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we get, and then after that is right. And then now in our case of BEMO, from a compliance, again, you show the evidence of, what do you do when you get a ticket. Again, you can see the flow, how you go from the 2 million to the 120, and what do you do from the 120.
Right. So for the people who are trying to achieve CMMC level 2, the way this reporting can really be helpful is you have all your logs that are aggregating in the SIM. Then they're going through the SOC, so the 100 tickets that are being registered in the ticketing system. So let's say a Jira, Zendesk, that type of thing. And then what's happening is that's being connected to Power BI to visualize the tickets, what's happening in the tickets, when did they get closed? And like that, you see from start to finish how a case was handled. And so when you give this type of reporting to an external auditor, they're able to see that you are programmatically and proactively taking care of all these issues and all those maps to certain controls.
Yeah, if I think, at the end, what is the goal of the assessor? You are telling the assessor, again, these are my policies. This, for example, again, I have a policy for passwords. This is my policy. And the assessor will say, okay, are you doing, approve it. Show me that what you did. The goal of the assessor is, I look through your system and you're doing exactly what you said you do. And what you do is what you need to do to be CMMC, ISO, whatever.
Right.
So you don't go back to,
let's talk about, let's kind of link that back to policies. So policies are essentially just a document that communicates what you do about a certain topic.
Yeah, so for example, I would take BEMO password policy. It goes, okay, how many characters is the minimum? What type of character? How often do you change or not change? Again, it goes back to who can change it. What, it's a kind of, where do you store them? Can you create, like at BEMO, you cannot, your password has to be created by the password vault. This is a policy. You cannot create your own password. So again, it goes back. So
you're not allowed to store it in Excel. You're not allowed to write it down. Yeah. It's that type of stuff, right?
Yes, that was it. So again, then you show the assessor will review the policy. Okay, the policy, is good. It's compliant with CMMC. ISO. This is what you need to do. Now prove it to me. So I'm going to check from X, Y, Z on your system.
How do you prove that
Exactly.
all the passwords have that many characters or not using
Exactly.
certain things, right? Like
Yeah, exactly.
that's where it becomes challenging to prove.
Yes.
Right.
So again, so it's just it's stuff like that. So again, the more you have the automation, it's
Okay. And within frameworks like SOC 2, ISO, and CMMC level 2, how many policies on average do they increase by framework? Do some have more than others?
yeah, I think again, quote me the exact number, but I think from a SOC, I think it was at BEMO we had 21 policy. When we went to ISO, we had to add 4 more, and when we went to CMMC, we had another 5. So again, so it's kind of more.
So like maybe like up to 30 different types of
Around
policies.
30.
Around
Yes, around
30-ish,
30
right?
policy.
You mentioned that, your password policy is like one of those 30 documents. What are maybe like 3 or 4 others that people can think about?
Backup policies.
Okay, backup.
How do you do your backup? There is the
Backup of what? Like your SharePoint and
like
your servers?
BEMO
Like what?
your data is again for at BEMO for example, okay, for SharePoint, we have an external backup system outside of Microsoft that does our backup of SharePoint, Exchange, Teams, and for example, so there is all the retention. So if you go back to that, for example, on the backup, how long do you retain? Again, it's all so, and show that you have the backup. You have to show you do a restore. Again, you have to prove you do a restore. Every year I restore. Then you have to show that the restore worked. And so again, we do the restore. We record ourselves doing the restore. Okay, and so the auditor can see. Yeah, you want to see? Yes, we are doing it. You can see the full test if you want. So again, it's just
Right.
it's all to prove.
It's all documentation. It's all documentation.
Yes. And
it's all being able to prove what you're actually doing.
And at the end, this is a trend also is many people, if you don't need to go to compliance, don't go there because it will change, first it costs money.
It's a lot more, I don't know if busy work, maybe busy work isn't the right word, but it's like when you're doing IT yourself, like for example, Kata, our IT manager, if he has to go, previously, he would just go do stuff. I just go to admin center and I do this thing and I just do my work.
And nothing.
But now you have to show your work.
No,
and again, because BEMO were there, it works when you are a company with only one IT guy. It's all in his head. He doesn't have to share. Oh, now you bring a second one. Okay. Well, now that other person has no clue what's done, and the worst, that person leaves. Whoa. Okay. So again, from our perspective, for us, because again, we have to maintain IT system of the company. You want documentation. You have to show the customer what we do. So we do the same on BEMO. And I think, again, now it's how we work. Again, it's just, I'm sure now Kata will go to another company and not follow kind of the practice we do. Will feel like, wow, it's, the old days.
This place feels crazy.
It's a bit crazy. Not, again, so it's kind of, if I had to redo a company, I will restart at the beginning to be ready from a compliance. Because if you start from the beginning, yes, it may take you an extra 2 months to get started. But then, it's... you do it correctly. It's like someone that build a house. There is a certain process to do it correctly. Okay, you could build a house a lot faster, but I don't guarantee.
Or you could build a house by yourself and you don't have to communicate with anybody.
Yep.
But as soon as you have to start working with a team,
exactly. Yes,
it's working in. Really, teamwork is just not the same way of working as your personal, right.
And then from a BEMO perspective, and I see compliance, I always say compliance equal trust. It's kind of why we do this podcast to talk about trust. Again, at the end is, I want our customer to, I work with them, there's integrity, I trust them. I can see, again, they have all
they do things the right way.
Checking,
it feels good. It feels good, right?
Exactly. It's like, it feels good for me personally. It feels good of like, okay, we are doing our best to protect our customer.
Right. You're doing things the right way, right?
You can't guarantee anything because again, security, I will deliver customer, but at least we try, we do our best and
right.
No shortcut.
Yeah, there's no shortcuts for sure.
So, and I will go back. So one of the questions, if customer come to us and say, oh, Bruno, well, I saw I could get SOC 2 in 3 weeks and for $2,000, and I'm exaggerating, but very low. Can you match it? So, no. First, I will not
No
match
way.
it.
I don't
How
even
that?
want to work with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to work with you because
Yeah.
you don't care about security. You just want a paper. And for me, I only want customer that care about security.
Yeah.
If it's not, at the end you don't believe in what you just want, no, go somewhere else. Go
Yeah.
pay
Yeah.
your $2,000 somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. You're philosophically just not aligned with how we work, right? I do think like I would like to give some credit. Like if you're a company of, let's call it under 10, 10 users and you really don't have much money and you really have to do this, yeah, go do what you have to go do to go get the piece of paper and win that business, that that enterprise deal or that big deal that you have to go do. And it's like I understand that if you truly don't have the money to do it that sophisticated, then for sure, like I don't blame you. You have to go do what you do. But like once you get to like 20 employees, and 20 employees is still like, let's say pretty like really on the lower end of SMB, you actually really do have the budget to do things correctly.
My thing is in today's world, you can see, again, we see it again. We were not doing compliance 4 years ago, and now it's pretty much the main thing. It drove you, it completely changed. So again, it becomes now you will do even a startup. You would have to be SOC 2 at the minimum because people will ask for it. So it's almost like as part of your business plan, you have to have it. If you don't plan for it, you may have a problem to sometime win a contract, or why you're already a startup. So how do I trust you? You may not exist in 2 years from now. So and your security, you want me to try your brand new software, but so give. And versus, yes, I'm a startup, but we already SOC 2, we already that. Oh, okay, well, you're serious again, okay, because
Yeah, there's a certain element of just like almost just like legitness of the company. Like if you go to a company's website, obviously like CMMC is like industry specific. But for example, if I saw a CMMC badge or an ISO badge without knowing anything else about the company, I'd be like, oh wow, like these guys are a
again,
real company,
by default, again, from a BEMO perspective, we don't allow system of company that are not compliant. That's it. This is our rule.
Right.
So, which means at least the
And it's the
first thing.
rule it's from my understanding, it's the rule of the framework as well.
Now, the framework you have to get depending on the system, the impact of the system. If it's a high impact, yes, it has to be. But from a BEMO perspective is, this is a minimum requirement. Doesn't mean that they are secure, but again, it goes like, at least by them not being compliant at all, I don't know where they are. At least okay, at least I know they're on that level. At least, it's kind of someone who is a Microsoft, Copilot certified. Okay, I know. Okay, I can talk that person. I know and where they are. It's the same as someone with a degree. There's a difference with someone no degree or degree. You from a, doesn't mean they are better.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't mean they're better, but also like, I do kind of like the guy from Harvard better than the guy with no degree.
Exactly.
Like all things else being equal, you're like, I'm probably going to give the edge to that guy, right?
And I think so for any, CEO or whatever that listen to us, it's the same as when they do an interview. Okay. How is the person in front of me? Do I want to bring in? Do I trust that person? It's the same there. So will the company that work with you, do they trust you? Do they, how do you differentiate yourself?
I think about that a lot now, especially where every single tool now is an AI tool, right? When you think about like I think call recording is a really good example of maybe an AI tool that is being maybe the most quickly adopted within companies, right? Like a ChatGPT type of tool and a call recording tool. A call recording tool has access to every single thing you say all the time. You better at least hope or be sure that company, of all the other companies you're working with, at least is like ISO or something, right? Because you have no idea what's happening with that data. Yes, there's no certification. Yeah.
Totally. Again, I'm me personally, because again, we do security for AI, and again, today by default, again, so everyone listening, if you're an IT guy or a CEO or whatever, everyone in your company are going out of the door because all your employees are using AI. You want it or not, if you have a website, as they use it, your data is out. So you have to have a very quick conversation and check your IT. So again, from a BEMO perspective, is I don't want to block. So we don't block people from doing it, because if you block them, well, they will take their personal phone or they will take their personal computer and they are going to chat and take data and put it outside. So again, if I look BEMO, I want people to do it on the BEMO network with BEMO data. So again, it's which AI application do we allow or not allow? The one we allow are the ISO 4201. Okay, yes, no. And so again, and look at the data. So it's
But
again.
but back to kind of certifications that you were talking about. Are there, when it comes to CMMC for you're a DoD contractor, you're a CEO or in operations, and you're trying to determine which MSPs to use, what tools to use to get you to CMMC. Are there any sort of certifications in the industry that determine the different roles within CMMC? So let's say the auditor, the MSP, do they have different certifications? And are there certain certifications that that companies should look out for to determine if these guys can implement CMMC?
Yeah, so from the auditor, so I think they are called the C3PAO. Again, so again, they go through the standards. So I think today maybe there's more, but as of December, it was 89 companies around the world that are C3PAO that can.
Yeah.
That
So
are the auditor.
C3PAO is, I believe it's certified third-party auditing organization.
Okay,
I think.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So again, we work from some airlines and CBA stuff, companies like that. So again, we work with many of them. So again, so they have to go. I don't know, to be honest, I don't know the process they have to go through, but I know it's not easy to become one. So, and it's why there's not that many. So again, and us, so we BEMO in CMMC, we are RPO. So
It's a registered practitioner organization.
it's very good. So again, so we went there, and then we have RP, registered practitioner. So like I am one of them. We have many people within the company who are. So again, you take classes, you take a training, you take an exam, then you are. So we, this
Right.
is
So basically, there's like this nonprofit third-party organization called Cyber AB, and this organization is essentially giving out designations for different players, different roles within the CMMC ecosystem, and is essentially ensuring that there's a quality standard for which organizations can do what type of work. So you could go to any MSP to ask them to go get you to CMMC, but most likely they're probably not qualified. Doesn't mean that they're not allowed to do the work, but you probably would prefer to go with any of the registered practitioner organizations, because they have to have qualified people within the organization who are also certified to this standard, right?
And if I take CMMC as an example, so again, so if an MSP, so you have a company, you want to be CMMC, because we are your MSP, our IT system is part of the audit. So if again, so
we are part of our client's audit. We are within their scope.
Within their scope. Okay. So which means from our perspective, because we are compliant, then it goes a lot faster, because we don't have to prove it. And again, from an assessor, I work with BEMO, they're already compliant. Okay, great. Okay. So when you look for an MSP, again, this is something to look for to make, this makes the whole thing, I would say, easier and take less time, because now your audit is shorter.
Right. So something that I think this was kind of a new thing in the industry, where I think that was kind of a point of contention of whether the MSP was really under scope or not. And I think recently it came out, recently being in the last few months, that yes, the MSP, even though the MSP will potentially never touch your controlled unclassified information, your CUI or CUI, even though the MSP may never access or your CUI, we still the assessor, the C3PAO, the external auditor, will still find the MSP us in scope within the contractor, the DoD contractor's scope of the audits. And while we don't have to be CMMC level 2 compliance, perhaps it still makes the audit a lot simpler and faster for the clients.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
So again, something. So again, if I look at from a Microsoft perspective, Microsoft has 400,000 partners around the world. So go look for one that already.
And you can go to the Cyber AB. I believe it's just cyberab.org, I think is what it is. And they have a directory. They have lots of great information if you're trying to educate yourself about this whole process. But they also have a directory of all the different people and who has the certifications. So you can look up the people of the certifications, the organization of the certifications. You can look up all the RPOs. So that's like BEMO. So BEMO were essentially the implementers of like the technology and the process to get you to there. But then there's also all the people who are the internal auditors as well as the external auditors as well. And so you can go there and do your research.
Very good. Yeah.
Great. Well, I think that's a great place to stop. I feel like we've covered a lot of ground. Thank you again, Bruno, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye. That is another episode of Trust Issue. In this conversation, help you think differently about compliance, security, or trust. Share it to help someone who is still stuck in a checkbox mode. Each week, we will keep bringing you more episodes, resources, and real-world insight from the BEMO team. Wherever you are listening from, don't forget to rate the podcast and follow us to stay up to date on the latest development in the GRC space. Remember, compliance gets you certified, but real security, that earns trust. Thank you for listening.